Hi, I'm Emily Mae White, and this is my home and the home of Mae'd Bakery. You're looking at my workspace here, and I'll show you my absolute favorite part of the workspace is that not only do I have these wonderful artisan local concrete countertops, but the best part is my view of the North Carolina woods. Right through the dining room, and with these and topping that view, of course, is my daughter. So my open floor plan allows me to be in the same space as my daughter while I do the baking. I would say that Mae'd Bakery started back when I was in graduate school, probably in 2002. I was doing environmental research, and I just had this need to give back, and that's why I was in environmental research in the first place. But it was incredibly stressful work. The hours were difficult, but the hardest part was that any impact we were making was so far down the road. It was so far removed from us, and one way to relieve the stress was to do some baking. I had learned baking from my mom, and my grandmother had been a home ec teacher, and it was in the family to give gifts of baked goods, and I started doing that, and I would feel this immediate reward, and suddenly I had something tangible. I would see the look on people's faces, and they would thank me, and it felt really good. Well, I continued and got my PhD and moved, got married, started a family, and my husband and I were both doing environmental work, and that's when I decided that I really wanted to stay home with my kids and be with them and really enjoy that period in their life, but I couldn't quit the baking. I really still felt that need to connect and feel like I was doing something good. So I was baking all sorts of desserts and fancy cakes and pies and cookies. But the one thing that really stood out in all the things that I was baking were these cherry chocolate recovery bars, I started to call them. I was giving them as gifts to postpartum moms after they got out of the hospital or home from the birth center. It was this really wonderful, easy to grab, but nutritious snack packed with whole grains, pistachios, almonds, Michigan cherries that my mom still sends me from Michigan. And as my friends started to receive them, they asked, "Hey, can I buy these from you to send to my friends all across America?" And that's kind of how things started. They started sending them to their friends, and now they're being sent to chemotherapy patients, to endurance athletes, as something to give a real boost after a time that your body is deprived. And it's sort of a sense of revival because it tastes so good, and you can sort of feel centered with this reintroducing a little bit of nutrition into your body. And so my bars were being sent all over America, but back home I had this community of moms, and one of the moms was having difficulty breastfeeding and asked me, "Do you know any natural foods that could help boost my milk supply?" And at that point I was like, yeah, let's try this. And so I used my little village of moms as sort of a focus group, and we started sort of together adding ingredients and figuring out, after some research, what would be best to put into these bars to help moms boost their milk supply, help them lactate. And so we've added fenugreek, brewer's yeast, and flaxseed meal to the original recipe that was already really hearty. It felt so inspiring to me to be able to help a mom help her feed her baby. And at the same time, the bars are so delicious that it's really hard to keep Dad's hands off of them. So they tend to be a whole family treat once they make it into somebody's house. But I think that they're a wonderful thing to get into the major marketplace, and winning this contest would be a boost to that. It would take it from being maybe more of a hobby into a real career. So I think this would be perfect because it's American made.